affiliated school, our panelists, and of course the team member who were very much involved in framing the standard operating procedure for implementing credit framework in school. On the backdrop, let me share with you a high-level committee was constituted by the Ministry of Education, co-chaired by both the chairman of UGC and chairman of NCBT. And under that committee, almost all autonomous bodies were members. And after due diligence and multiple round of discussions, both at higher level and also with the stakeholder, the subcommittee has been constituted. One for the school education, one for the higher education, and one for vocational education. And incidentally, the subcommittee of school education was chaired by our honorable chairperson, Nidhi Chibba ma'am. And again, after deliberations with some of you, we come up with SOP, which was released 1 month back for comment. And of course, we received very few comment from the principal across the country and also from the outside. And based on that understanding, and also as RP has rightly mentioned, the new education policy where the multiplicity in subjects, and if we look into the new national curriculum framework, there is a specific focus on multiple subjects from grade 6 onwards. So if we look into these domains, especially the 6 to 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12, the secondary component, that there are certain variation than that of what we are implementing as on date. Now, in between, there is a framework. We call it National Credit Framework. Now, we are actually trying to find out the interoperability of National Credit Framework with NEP and NCrF so that for our school or any school for that matter can easily look into this creditizations process in school. So we have already conducted some of the webinar, and also in our national summit, Chairman NCBT had presented a detailed presentation, and there were many questions from the stakeholder, and he answered it. And also some web session also we conducted. Now, at this stage, we want to tell you what is credit framework and how with NCF and existing pattern of schooling, we can really implement both in 6 to 8 and 9 to 12 from the coming academic session. So that school principal, along with his or her academic team, academic core team, they can plan in coming 2 months so that from 1st April onwards, whatever we are implementing, there we can find the scope of creditization. So first of all, what is credit and how we came into this nomenclature. I'll request RP to share the presentation, and also in between I'm going to discuss all these points through this presentation, and post that the members who have worked with us to finalize the SOP, if any specific comment they like to give, they can intervene at any point of time, and then post that. We take direct questions from the persons, from the educationists who have joined us virtually. So, in the process of creditizations, by the time Shing start the presentation, let me tell you, in the process of creditizations, the main focus is on learning hours. So the learning hours here I want to mean, one is school learning hours happened in school, the that through the process of curriculum transaction, to the curriculum transaction, and another component, how far the school student at home through self-reading, through project-based learning, or even if they are doing some activities in Bangladesh Day. So collectively, we need to bring each and every learning hour in the fold of curriculum transaction. Now, few years back, rather before new education policy, there is a concept or term-wise we can think of the curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities. It is fully gelled into only curricular activity. So whether it is sports, whether it is art and dance, or if it is music, or any sort of activities beyond the school or within the school hours if students is doing, that becomes part of the curricular activity. So that way, for a academic year, we have seen, if you look into the new curriculum framework, on an average, if you look into your timetable for every school, and if you calculate with reference to the total working day in an academic year, and if you convert with your timetable with this working day, then on an average, 1000 hour to 1050 hours you are spending in the school campus. So that means these specific hours is a direct contact hour transacted in the school campus or directly managed under school. So certain hours we are keeping for child-centric analogy, like if you are giving some specific work to the children, which would be carried out at home or which would be carried out in a place or in the mode of excursion, exhibition, or participating in multiple student enrichment activities conducted by board. And definitely, if I recall, on recent times in Pariksha Pe Charcha also, there is a good number of CBSE's school students presented innovative project and which was appreciated by our Honorable Prime Minister. Now, question is how these activities can also be linked with your curricular activities and due credit can be awarded to the child. That mechanism we need to come up, so that we need to develop that mechanism so that nobody suffers. And similarly, in the Republic Day Parade, even in the school campus, there are a lot of activities our schools are organizing. Whether if it is a flagship projects like Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, there are multiple activities students are carrying out in the campus, and both in a hybrid mode or in a physical mode. How to creditize? Now, sometimes a group of students are getting a specific certificate. Now we are trying to mandate it for all, so that in different activities would be carried out by the different groups of students, but ultimately each and every child is doing something in the campus, outside the campus. So if I come back to the key principle of the credit framework, so first of all, the notional learning hours for assigned credit across the school education. If you, I think some of you can correct me whether the slide is visible to you all. Those who are in the panel, one of you can really correct me. And visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So that way we are spreading 1200 hours in an academic session, and every learner, every student is supposed to carry out that in this in a particular academic session, and on completion of this learning hour they are supposed to earn 40 credits, and Of course, there would be a question in between that if somebody is completing the learning, then whether school is supposed to award. No, it is based on the assessment. So, based on the mechanism of competency assessment, if student found suitable or the minimum level, minimum benchmark assessment he or she fulfills, then only student would be eligible for earning the credit in his or her academic bank of credit. So we call in the university systems of our country has already established a mechanisms of keeping the credit, and that mechanism is broadly called academic bank of credit. तो हर बच्चों के लिए एक अकाउंट होगा और उस अकाउंट में द चाइल्ड इज गोइंग व्हाट एवर ही और शी इज अर्निंग दैट would be deposited in that academic bank of credit. तो अभी के लिए मैं बोलना चाहूंगा 1200 hours पर ईयर नोशनल लर्निंग आवर्स का बेसिस में द चाइल्ड इज गोइंग टू अर्न 40 क्रेडिट. तो अगर हम मोटा मोटा हिसाब लगाएंगे तो 1200 hours divided by 40, दैट मीन्स एक क्रेडिट अर्न करने के लिए 30 नोशनल आवर्स बच्चों को स्पेंड करना पड़ेगा. सो दैट्स द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क. मेरा ख्याल से आप लोगों को ये बेसिक इश्यूज अगर क्लियर है, देन वी कैन प्रोसीड टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड, wherein the comprehensive framework is putting the provision as मैं जो initial comment में जो मैंने बोला था that there is a subcommittee for school education, there is a subcommittee for the higher education and subcommittee for vocational education. उसका reflection आप left side में देखिए. So elementary education, school education, this comes under the school education domain, and higher and technical education उस कमिटी का डोमेन में है, एंड वोकेशनल एजुकेशन इज अनदर डोमेन. अगर आज का फोकस डिस्कशंस अगर हम स्कूल एजुकेशन में रखेंगे, देन व्हाट आर द प्रोविजन NCrF is program. So first of all, it removed the distinction between general and vocational education and established a equivalence, so that there is a both horizontal mobility and also the vertical mobility, and vertical mobility towards the higher and technical education, and horizontal mobility from school education to vocational education, vocational education to school education. अगर आप NEP को कैटेगोरिकली देखेंगे वही रिकमेंडेशन था. So credit frameworks becomes a enabler through which the cross mobility can be allowed very smoothly. And if you look into the right side, the bottom row, it supports the existing qualification framework, that is National Higher Educational Qualification Framework and National Skill Qualification Framework. So in that way, it is a bundle propositions. And if you look into the what way the credit framework is enabling, then first of all, every learning hours and all types of learning shall be creditized. चाहे स्कूल में हो, घर में हो, सोसाइटी में हो, किसी भी तरह को learning, how we can creditize both in the physical mode and also in the hybrid mode. Because हमारा जो दीक्षा पोर्टल है, स्वयं पोर्टल है, और इवन द अदर सोर्स का द्वारा जितना भी लर्निंग मैनेजमेंट प्लेटफॉर्म्स अवेलेबल है, थ्रू व्हिच देयर could be enormous scope of enhancing the knowledge, and it is truly applicable not only for the student, even equally it is important for the teachers. All the premier institutes of the country, they are offering multiple capsule courses. So teacher also at time they can register and take up this course, appear for the assessment and take the certificate, and also with that certificate that credit would be there. And if मैं थोड़ी देर के लिए 30 सेकंड्स के लिए थोड़ा डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा हूं। अगर कोई टीचर किसी प्रीमियर यूनिवर्सिटी से 3-4 माइक्रो कोर्स कर लिया है एंड लेटर ऑन ही और शी फील दैट नो मेरा और आउट ऑफ 90 क्रेडिट्स में से मैंने 35 क्रेडिट्स माइक्रो क्रेडेंशियल से अर्न कर लिया, रिमेनिंग के कोर्स के लिए इफ यू वांट टू रजिस्टर और go for physical attendance, that is highly possible. Similarly, whether this scope can be extended to the children, and I have personally witnessed at CBSE, there are many school principal are here today. आप ही लोगों का बच्चे लोग ने MIT से लेके ओपन एडेक्स का काफी सारे कोर्स रजिस्टर करके कंप्लीट करके सर्टिफिकेट तक हमारा पास ईमेल में भेजा है। It shows the interest. Now, how those micro credential can be accepted by the school community, credit discussion उसी के लिए है। अगर प्लेनेटेशन ड्राइव में बच्चा जा रहा है और कोई क्रिएटिव थिएटर एक्टिविटीज में बच्चा अपने आप को जोड़ रहा है, how we can recognize that talent and also appreciate that talent, the mechanism is through the credit framework. So that's why if you look into this slide, it clearly prescribes the learning outcomes with predefined NCrF credit level. So ये एक चीज हो सकता है। दूसरा, it can carry out the assessment against the prescribed learning outcome, and based on the assessment, competency based assessment, we are supposed to award them the grade. Of course, the today's mechanism of giving the marks would remain. आज का तारीख में जो प्रोसेस आप फॉलो कर रहे हो स्कूल में, that will remain as it is, but at the same time, how it can be equated with the credit, that mechanisms we are going to explain today. So, assessment is a mandatory component through which one individual student is going to earn the credit, and accumulation of credit is permissible if he or she earned within this assessment framework, and relevance and weightage of this experiential learning, its proficiency level need to be well defined so that individual school, especially from grade 1 to grade 8, they can evolve with a auto-generated mechanism, or group of schools can decide collectively what could be the mechanism. Because this localized assessment and child-centric assessment will promote adaptive learning. So one way, a standardized assessment pattern we can share, but at the same time, if school feels that for the uniqueness of the child, if they feel they need to promote different kind of assessment, I think it is highly permissible for the school community, so that based on that pattern, they can award the grade. So relevance and assigning credit, irrespective of the mode of learning, and here we can promote different mode of learnings, like which is online, virtual, physical. So all mode can be permissible. Every learning hour and all types of learning shall be creditized. एक चीज मैं बार बार repeat कर रहा हूँ, so that it can hit you in a different manner, so that we can really accept the learning pattern. And all type of learning shall be creditized under National Credit Framework. Firstly, it clearly prescribes the learning outcomes with predefined NCrF credit level. Secondly, carry out the assessment against this prescribed learning outcome. Here, the school board like CBSE and other regulator can come up with the credit level, especially for grade 9 to 12. We are going to define the subject wise the credit. And similarly, for 6 to 8 also, there would be a fixed nomenclature through which these 40 hours would be distributed. sorry, 40 credits should be distributed among the 10 subjects under new NCF, and of course, with the existing pattern also, it can be defined. So accumulation is credit is permissible if we earn within the same assessment band. वो मैंने पहले भी बोला है, and of course relevance of experiential learning and proficiency level subject to assessment. I am repeating, and assigning the credit is irrespective of the mode of learning. Again, I am repeating so that somewhere the purpose of NCrF is well understood by every individual who have joined us virtually, and of course you can, those who have not joined, उनके लिए जिन्होंने join किया, you can share the YouTube link so that later on it can be discussed in the school campus. और all respected principal के लिए मेरा request है, आज का इस सेशंस को आप अपनी लेवल पे यू टेक एटलीस्ट 30 मिनट, आप अपनी लेवल, आपका खुद का अंडरस्टैंडिंग का हिसाब से इस हफ्ता में या कमिंग वीक में बेस्ड ऑन योर सुटेबिलिटी यू ट्राई टू डिस्कस विथ योर कलीग, और ये रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बोर्ड आप ही को ही देते हैं, सो दैट एटलीस्ट योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इफ यू कैन स्प्रेड टू योर कलीग, योर टीम मेंबर, and I think through a discussions इसका निचोड़ और होगा, और आप ही लोग maybe you would be in a good positions to comment, give a suitable feedback to us within next 15 days. क्या चीज implementable है, कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम आ सकते हैं, और प्रॉब्लम आने से किस टाइप का सोल्यूशन आपका कलीग का मन में है. So my humble request to all of you, please take the lead role so that before start of our board exam इस मुद्दे पे आप लोग एक निर्णायक की तरह साबित हो सकते हैं, और इसके लिए आपको हमारा टीम का साथ जोड़ना पड़ेगा. This is the learning level and this credit earned. अगर स्कूल एजुकेशन से लेके हायर एजुकेशन को हम इस फ्रेमवर्क को देखेंगे तो इसको आप देख लीजिए, पूरा रखा हुआ है स्लाइड में. मैं अगर एनईपी का level wise if I discuss, so you look into first 5 years, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, and last 4 is divided into 2 plus 2. So first 5 years is foundational, वहां पे आपको 1200 hours के लिए सोचना ही नहीं है. So foundation level में we are prescribing hardly 800 hours in a year, और उसमें भी आप लोग देख सकते हो व्हाट इज सुटेबल, बिकॉज अगर हम जॉयफुल लर्निंग में लर्निंग आवर्स का ऊपर ही ज्यादा स्ट्रेस करेंगे, किसी ना किसी जगह पे हम खो जाएंगे. तो वो ऑटोनॉमी स्कूल का ऊपर है, बट आफ्टर मल्टीपल डिस्कशंस विद डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ स्टेक होल्डर, क्रिटिक्स, सभी जनों के से, सभी दिग्गजों से बात करने का बाद ये तय हुआ है फाउंडेशनल ईयर में 800 घंटा से ज्यादा लर्निंग आवर्स रखने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. एक्सेप्शनल इज वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस हियर. 3 ईयर प्रिपरेटरी में 1000 आवर्स ऑफ लर्निंग पर ईयर. उसका बाद जो 3 ईयर मिडिल है, दैट इज 6 to 8, वहां पे हम लोग बोल रहा है 1200 आवर्स. अगर इसको आप एनसीएफ का साथ थोड़ा बहुत, जिन्होंने एनसीएफ को देखा है, उसको न्यू एनसीएफ अंडर न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, उसमें 10 सब्जेक्ट्स कंपलसरी है. अगर उसका प्रॉपर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन लर्निंग आवर्स देखेंगे, इस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में देयर इज अ कंपोनेंट कॉल्ड 1045 आवर्स आर बीइंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अमंग द 10 सब्जेक्ट्स. इसका मतलब 1200 आवर्स लर्निंग आवर्स जो हम 40 क्रेडिट एम्बिशस कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए we need another 155 hours जो suitably principal and his or her academic team can distribute as a project, additional learning and additional assignment, जो बच्चा घर पे और different mode में करेंगे. So subject wise, that calculations also in due course of time it will be shown to you, so that school के लिए उस में अपना मेहनत कुछ ना करना पड़े. सो दिस इज वन इशू एंड इसी टेबल का अगर आप देखेंगे नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क में क्रेडिट लेवल कहां पे है, तो फर्स्ट 5 इयर्स फाउंडेशनल के लिए क्रेडिट लेवल, फर्स्ट 3 इयर्स के लिए जो हम प्री स्कूल बोलते हैं, किसी जगह पे नर्सरी, किसी जगह पे मॉन्टेसरी, वॉट एवर नोमेनक्लेचर वी आर फॉलोइंग, उसके हर एवरी ईयर के लिए वी आर पुटिंग क्रेडिट लेवल ऑफ 0.1. So 0.1 into 3 for preschool. Grade 1 के लिए 0.2 and this will follow up to grade 5. तो 0.22 करके बढ़ता जाएगा, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1. जब बच्चा क्लास ग्रेड 5 पास करेगा तब उनको क्रेडिट लेवल 1 पे आएंगे. If you look into the middle level, then again this nomenclature is changed with 0.33, 1.33, 1.67 and followed by 2. So जब बच्चा ग्रेड 8 पास करेंगे उनको क्रेडिट लेवल 2 में आएंगे. अगर सेकेंडरी का फर्स्ट 2 इयर्स दैट इज ग्रेड 9 एंड 10, वहां पे उसका 2.5 एंड 3. एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली इस स्लाइड को अगर आप देखेंगे तो यहाँ पे जब बच्चा 8वीं पास करके 9 में आएंगे तो उसका एनुअल ग्रेडिंग लेवल इज एनहांस फ्रॉम 0.33 टू 0.5. तो 2 से 9 जब पास करेगा बच्चे को 2.5 लेवल पे, 10 पास करेगा 3 लेवल, और दिस विल कंटिन्यू अंटिल ही और शी रीचेस टू पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट और डॉक्टरल डिग्री प्रोग्राम. एंड दैट वे अगर इस टेबल का एकदम टॉप देखेंगे वहां पे क्रेडिट लेवल 8 है, और नेशनल हायर एजुकेशन क्वालिफिकेशन फ्रेमवर्क जो यूजीसी डिक्लेयर कर चुका है वहां पे भी हाईएस्ट लेवल इज लेवल 8. सो लेवल 8 क्रेडिट लेवल हायर एजुकेशन का साथ स्कूल एजुकेशन का, और बाय मींस ऑफ दिस इंटरऑपरेटेबल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क दिस इज वेल सेट. Higher education qualification framework is also at credit level 8, the highest qualification, that is आज का तारीख में the doctoral degree PhD program, और सबसे lowest qualification that is your first year nursery, that is at 0.1. So the journey of education in the eyes of credit framework travels from 0.1 to 8.0. That's the fundamental जिसका ऊपर हमारा ये डिस्कशन, और थोड़ा आगे बढ़ेंगे. कुछ लोगों को थोड़ा बोर्ड लग रहा है तो थोड़ा हाथ बार दिखा सकते हैं, इंक्लूडिंग द पैनलिस्ट. मे बी you can even interrupt me by putting a question. Otherwise monotonous audio and video is very much boring. That's my personal understanding. So if you look into the next column, where the credit earned column में आप देखिए grade 9 onwards, rather grade 6 onwards, क्रेडिट हम 40 क्रेडिट्स एनुअली हम देंगे. हायर एजुकेशन सिस्टम में जब भी बच्चा पहुंचेगा पोस्ट ग्रेड 12, उस सेमिस्टर पैटर्न में 40 क्रेडिट्स इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इनटू 20 फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर, 20 सेकंड सेमिस्टर. बट यहाँ पे बिलो ग्रेड 6 इट इज 33 क्रेडिट फ्रॉम ग्रेड 3 to 6 and 27 credit from grade 1 to 3, or rather you can see 27 credit from grade nursery to grade 3, sorry grade 5. और इसमें जो मल्टीप्लिकेशन फैक्टर है वो नर्सरी टू ग्रेड 5 आपका मल्टीप्लिकेशन फैक्टर है, एंड फैक्टर इज 0.1 से लेके 1 तक है. बट वंस इट रीचेस टू ग्रेड 6 वहां पे मल्टीप्लिकेशन फैक्टर आपका 0.5 आ गया. और इसको अगर राइट साइड, एक्सट्रीम राइट साइड से पहले वाला कॉलम जो देखेंगे, क्रेडिट अर्न होगा आपका टोटल नंबर ऑफ क्रेडिट अर्न, दैट इज द क्रेडिट पॉइंट अर्न इनटू द नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क का क्रेडिट लेवल. एंड एकेडमिक बैंक ऑफ क्रेडिट्स में इसी का ही ट्रांजैक्शन होते रहेंगे. And yeah. So my request to team member, you can in between look into the questions. बहुत सारे लोग क्वेश्चन ये कर रहे, तो you can just find out few questions and interrupt me in between so that I can really answer those questions and proceed. So assessment stage and equivalent, if you look in the eyes of whatever certificate or degree programs we are awarding, so it could be PG degree, it could be Master of Arts or Master of Technology, it could be UG degree, diploma program, or for us specifically, it is grade 12 certificate program, grade 10 certificate program, and below that grade 8, for which individual school would be, or rather already empowered to award that degree to every individual student. अगर हम इसको फर्दर इन टेबुलेटेड फॉर्म में देखेंगे तो उसको हम बोल सकते हैं 3-year मिडिल एंड नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क नोशनल अवार्ड. अगेन जो चीज पहले स्लाइड में दिखा है उसको थोड़ा ब्रेक करके वहां से लेके हम दिखा रहे हैं, सो दैट और एक बार आपका आंखों का रोशनी उसको चेक कर सकते हैं ठीक से. Based on these understanding, of course, there is again two nomenclatures. यहाँ पे डिबेट हो सकता है attendance का issues को लेके, because we have a open school domain, but CBSE is a regular board. Learning hours में attendance is that way mandatory. Of course, whatever the special notion for CWSN we have given, I am not commenting on. That will remain as it is. For whatever facility we have extended to the children with special need, there this criteria could be different, but for others it would be suggested minimum attendance in school is 75%, and it is already there because the learning hour at school to calculate the credit earning, because from class nursery, grade nursery to grade 9, it is completely internal assessment, and every individual schools are empowered to assess based on this criteria. वहां पे बोर्ड का कोई इंटरवेंशन नहीं है. Even for the grade 11, although the secondary grade 9 and 10 is an integrated course, grade 11 and 12 is an integrated course, but we are allowing the school to do that. So in the process of credit framework also, the school would be, or rather school is advised through this forum to standardize the process so that there is absolute clarity, no matter school at Tamil Nadu or school at Delhi or school at Jammu and Kashmir, the process of creditization is standardized so that whoever is awarding the degree, that should be well accepted across the country. And through the process of this global effort, these national credit framework, how it would be accepted by the international community, for that also a specific group is working. So academic bank of credit in India, how if a student goes abroad, that credits can be accumulated there, that process is also very much on. And that's why my request to the school leader is a very important assignment which we have to undertake collectively so that it really benefit the child, each and every child in whatever maybe their potential. I think through this process, if we can really identify, that will really help the entire education system. And if we look into scheme of studies for grade 9 to 12, यहाँ पे हम लोग अगर NCF नेक्स्ट एकेडमिक सेशन से हम लागू करेंगे, स्पेशली फॉर ग्रेड 6 to 8, उस 6 to 8 में आपको एक चीज तो जो 3 लैंग्वेज उसका ऊपर आप लोगों को अभी से ही काम करना शुरू करना पड़ेगा। अगर अगले साल से आपका 9 में 3 लैंग्वेज आएंगे, अगर बच्चा 8वीं में 3 लैंग्वेज नहीं पढ़ा तो देयर वुड बी पोटेंशियल थ्रेट। सो माय रिक्वेस्ट टू यू, you look into the NCF document and try to adopt it in the school ecosystems from these academic sessions, especially for grade 6, 7, 8. For grade 9, in due course of time, or grade 11, in due course of time, CBSE is going to notify so that there is an absolute clarity on the implementation process. यहां पे एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहूंगा, स्कूल पीरियड इज यूजुअली ऑफ 45 to 50 मिनट्स, और ये जो लर्निंग आवर्स है, अगर आज का तारीख में हम क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क अगले साल ग्रेड 9 के लिए इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, देयर इज ए 5 सब्जेक्ट्स, और 5 सब्जेक्ट्स को इक्वली अगर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे 1200 आवर्स को, देयर वुड बी सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ डिस्पेरिटी, देयर वुड बी सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ कैलकुलेशंस एरर, क्योंकि कुछ बच्चा सिर्फ 5 सब्जेक्ट लेता है, कुछ बच्चा 6 सब्जेक्ट्स लेता है, एंड देयर आर सर्टेन चाइल्ड हु आर आल्सो ऑप्टिंग 7 सब्जेक्ट्स. So considering this perspective in mind, so there is a formula for distribution which I'm going to show you in next few slides. So credit shall be reflected in the mark statement. अगर हम 6 to 8 के लिए बात करेंगे तो क्रेडिट जो भी बच्चा जिस सब्जेक्ट्स में मार्क्स भी आएगा, और उसका साइड में अगर बच्चा सोशल साइंस कर रहा है, साइंस कर रहा है, लैंग्वेज पढ़ रहा है, जो भी 3 लैंग्वेज पढ़ रहा है, एंड ऑल्सो दे आर ऑप्टिंग मैथ्स, एंड अगर न्यू एनसीएफ देखेंगे उसमें देयर इज ए वन इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी एरिया, देयर इज ए वन आर्ट एजुकेशन, there is one physical education, and the last component is there is a one component called skill education or vocational education. So that means 10 subjects. अगर 10 subjects को हम देखेंगे तो 10 subjects का आपको एक distributions model रखना पड़ेगा, और कौन सा subjects का learning hour कितना है, based on that आपका credit तय होगा. वो हम दिखाएंगे, आपको एक sample दिखाएंगे, वो है ना. So based on that क्रेडिट, जो मैंने पहले भी बोला, क्रेडिट वुड बी अर्न इन फुल और नहीं. अगर असेसमेंट वो मिनिमम बेंचमार्क क्लियर किया तो उसको क्रेडिट तो पूरा मिलेगा, पूरा क्रेडिट वो अर्न करेगा. हो सकता है अगर मार्क्स कम है, कल का तारीख में जो भी हमारा ग्रेडिंग मॉडल होगा, माने ग्रेडेशन मॉडल होगा, ग्रेडेशन मॉडल में देयर इज ए कंपोनेंट ऑफ 5 पॉइंट स्केल ग्रेडिंग होता है एंड 10 पॉइंट स्केल ग्रेडिंग होता है. तो आज का तारीख में सीबीएसई पोजिशनल ग्रेड अडॉप्ट करके रखा हुआ है. तो टॉप 10 परसेंटाइल 1 परसेंटाइल 1 को सर्टेन ग्रेड दिया जाता है, और उसका बाद जो एकदम बॉटम जो ग्रेड मिलता है जिनको, दैट इज फॉर एसेंशियल रिपीट ग्रेड. तो फ्रॉम ए ग्रेड टू एसेंशियल रिपीट ग्रेड ई ग्रेड, दैट नोमेनक्लेचर इज देयर. तो अभी धीरे धीरे आप लोगों को भी जो ऑलरेडी सीनियर सेकेंडरी एंड सेकेंडरी स्कूल्स, उनको तो ये चीज ऑलरेडी क्लियर है, बट बाकी जो लोग यहाँ पे ज्वाइन न्यू स्कूल से अगर कुछ कोई लोग ज्वाइन किया है, उसको हम और क्लियर करेंगे आगे चल के. तो अभी इस सेशन में अगर हम क्रेडिट ग्रेड 9 से लागू करेंगे तो इसका रूपरेखा क्या होगा, और अगर ग्रेड 6 में हम लागू करेंगे उसका रूपरेखा क्या होगा, उसी का ऊपर ही हम आज आपको स्पेशली इनवाइट किया है. ग्रेड 9 के लिए थोड़ा देख लीजिए. इट इज considering the existing curriculum framework. I am not putting the new NCF at grade 9 at this stage, especially in the today's discussion. आगे जो भी चेंज होगा हम समय से पहले एटलीस्ट 15 से 1 महीना पहले आप लोगों को सूचित कर देंगे. कोई भी चेंज होगा इसको आप थोड़ा देख लीजिए. 210 आवर्स का जगह पे हम, our focus is not on the school hour, our focus is on the periods. सो वो इक्वेट करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज आज का तारीख में जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रैक्टिस है आपका स्कूलों में, उसी प्रैक्टिस को देखते हुए हम पर सब्जेक्ट्स कितना क्रेडिट दे रहा है और वर्क एक्सपीरियंस आर्ट एजुकेशन को क्या दे रहे हैं, इसका एक रूपरेखा हमने यहाँ पे बोलने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। और इसको इट वुड बी क्लियर, आई एम जस्ट कीपिंग फॉर सेविंग द टाइम, इस स्लाइड से आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो दिस इज, अगर ग्रेड 9 में फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2024 आप इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे तो आपका structure of creditizations would be, it will look like this. As per old NCF, I am repeating this. This is the existing structure. आज का, because 9-10 में आप 2 लैंग्वेज लेते हो, मैथ्स, साइंस, सोशल साइंस कंपलसरी है, हेल्थ एंड फिजिकल एजुकेशन एंड आर्ट एजुकेशन के लिए हम इंटरनल ग्रेडेड वे में जो सीनियर सेकेंडरी में चल रहे हैं उसको अगर हम प्रैक्टिस में लाएंगे, देन नेक्स्ट ईयर अगर इफ वी इंप्लीमेंट कम अप विद दिस new NCF, then this would become a subject. Art education and physical education would become a subject, and the optional component, whatever we are calling a skill subject, it would be also a mandatory. And जो language 3 जो हम यहाँ पे बोल रहा है, it would be your 7th subject. तो ultimately वो ऊपर उठ जाएगा। अगर इस स्ट्रक्चर को आप देखेंगे और न्यू एनसीएफ का जो स्ट्रक्चर है, रिकमेंडेशन है, इसमें किसी जगह पे अंतर है कुछ? somebody can correct me. एक ही अंतर है मेरा नजर में, that is interdisciplinary area is missing here. तो यहाँ पे 9 सब्जेक्ट का रखा गया है और वहां पे इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी ऐड हो जाएगा, तो आपका 10वीं का गैप पूरा हो जाएगा। You can correct me, any of the panelists, if you like to comment in one or 2 minutes, please join. Anyone? सुनीता जी, आपने वॉलंटियर, नेहा इज ऑन स्क्रीन, सुनीता जी, रूपा जी, ज्योति जी, एनीवन, राजीव कुमार गार्ग, सबका नाम ले लिया है। इतने देर से तो किसी ना किसी को बोल देना चाहिए था। प्लीज
कैन आई टेक
जो पहले यहाँ पे
Sir, the credit framework that we are talking about is a very promising, aspect. However, I have little query on what do you call, how this in terms of student assessment, how the national credit framework will accommodate different learning styles and abilities of the students.
Okay, fine. Acha, my point was what is missing in existing NCF and vis-a-vis the new NCF.
Sir, so when we talk about new NCF, it's the framework that we are seeing on screen is talking basically about the cognitive domain, but here we also have to look into the socio-emotional domain. We also have to look into the physical domain. We also have to look into various other domains that are to be developed holistically in a child, which I'm sure will be taken care of later.
Okay. So you are absolutely right. So the component of art education and physical education, here the thrust is less. But under new NCF, absolutely, there is a compulsory thrust, number 1, and also for the skill. Every child is supposed to learn 3 languages and also skill, art education, and health and physical education compulsorily, along with the interdisciplinary subject. And of course, the other academic subjects, whatever we are offering today, tomorrow also, it would remain. So that means that way it becomes a combination of 10 subjects. Here we are proposing 9 subjects for this session only. Once in NCF in true spirits the board is going to implement and notify, then this structure is going to change. Whenever we are going to notify this structure will change. But आज का तारीख में we are following this structure. So my request to all of you, how we can award the credit based on this structure. Coming back to the Rajivji's question, the apprehensions in the national credit framework, especially for the different learning level. Now, learning level could be different, but you are assessing based on certain standard of assessment. The learning could be always it is different. But when you are assessing, there are some kind of parity you are bringing, and if needed in the school-based assessment, there are a lot of different kind of thrust. But in the national level, many times it is not possible. But board is open for discussions, and if you look into the standard, what we are trying to implement in last few years, आज का तारीख में the ratio of competency based questions in grade 10 is approximately 50%. और वही चीज अगर आप ग्रेड 6 से लेके यात्रा शुरू कराएंगे बच्चे लोगों का, आई थिंक ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ कमिंग 3 to 4 years or at the max 5 to 6 years, the learning level would be mostly at par, but definitely that curve will remain. और उसके लिए द टीचर्स कॉम्पिटेंसी जितना इवॉल्व होगा, देन ओनली वो फ्लैट पैनल डिस्प्ले आप अपना ग्राफ में कभी भी नहीं देख पाएंगे, बट दैट्स द लार्जर विजन्स ऑफ द कंट्री. उसके लिए टीचर्स कॉम्पिटेंसी ऑन सब्जेक्ट एंड एनवायरमेंट का ऊपर ज्यादा से ज्यादा होना पड़ेगा, एंड चाइल्ड का साथ इमोशनल कनेक्ट भी उस तरह से आपको जोड़ना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक देन ओनली इट इज पॉसिबल. बट in terms of national credit framework, once the school award or any regulator school board award the credit, that comes in the national credit bank, and that we call academic bank of credit. So वहां पे जाके सब एट पार है. अगर 7 क्रेडिट किसी लैंग्वेज में बच्चा अर्न कर रहा है, तो 7 क्रेडिट का जो मापदंड है और 7 क्रेडिट का जो रिकॉग्निशन है, इट इज एट पार. वहां पे कोई बच्चे को तब नहीं देखा जाएगा, उसको अवार्डिंग बॉडी को दिखा जाएगा. और अवार्डिंग बॉडी कौन है? अगर ग्रेड 8 के लिए अवार्डिंग बॉडी कौन है? बोर्ड नहीं है, आप हो. तो आपको तय करना पड़ेगा कि स्टैंडर्ड मापदंड से आप एसेस किए हैं और बच्चे को क्रेडिट दे रहे हो. I think Rajiv ji.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Sir, here we've taken the third language as an optional subject. So from the coming session, we are going to have 3 languages in 9th, and we are going to have 2 languages in...
I am not telling this. I am not telling this, ma'am.
Okay. So,
यहाँ पे आप ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स में जो स्ट्रक्चर है, आज का तारीख में जैसे सीबीएसई स्कूल्स इन दिल्ली, स्पेशली द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल, वहां पे देयर आर सर्टेन स्कूल हु आर ऑफरिंग 3 लैंग्वेज एंड आल्सो वोकेशनल सब्जेक्ट.
ओके.
उनके लिए दिस स्कीम इज एप्लीकेबल.
राइट.
अगर इफ यू वांट टू फॉलो दिस, इट इज एप्लीकेबल टू द अदर स्कूल, बट वी आर नॉट फोर्सिंग एनीवन. But tomorrow, जब we in true sense, true spirit, NCF will notify. It will structurally look like these things only.
Okay, then in that case, the credits will still remain as 40 minimum.
Minimum 40. और वहां पे क्या होगा, न्यू एनसीएफ में आपको हम दिखाएंगे थोड़ी देर में. उस यहाँ पे जहां 7 क्रेडिट मिल रहा है ना लैंग्वेज को, वहां पे 3 लैंग्वेज कंपलसरी होने का बाद हर लैंग्वेज में 3 क्रेडिट या 4 क्रेडिट मिल रहा है.
Okay.
The structure will vary.
Okay.
Totally वो very माने चेंज हो जाएगा.
Yes, that was my question.
इस साल के लिए लैंग्वेज के लिए मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है, you can think of starting 3 languages in 6, 7, 8, so that, and it is already there in our structure.
It's already there.
But
it's already there.
अगर मान लीजिए from 2025 ग्रेड 9 में 3 लैंग्वेज हम कंपलसरी बोल दिया, और बच्चा जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का तहत कुछ लैंग्वेज प्रिस्क्रिप्शन है, एंड बच्चा जो लैंग्वेज ले रहा है दैट इज नॉट देयर इन ग्रेड 9, तो शुरुआत बच्चा 9 से करने के लिए दिक्कत होगा. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग यू कैन थिंक ऑफ चेंजिंग दिस नॉमेनक्लेचर सुटेबली सो दैट इस साल जो ग्रेड 8 में रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं, जो 7th में रजिस्टर कर रहा है और 6th में रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं, उनको 2 साल 3 साल 1 साल मद्देनजर रखते हुए सब्जेक्ट ऑफर कीजिए.
Right. And the assumption we have taken is that there will be 210 working days and a 6 hour of a school. Is that the assumption that we've taken?
That is standard assumption. That is standard assumption. वो तो जो अभी भी हमारा स्ट्रक्चर में है उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं है, बिकॉज वी हैव डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ स्कूल. वी हैव समर बाउंड स्कूल्स, वी हैव विंटर एक्सट्रीम विंटर बाउंड स्कूल, एंड वहां पे दिस ओवरऑल जो वर्किंग डे है दैट इज स्ट्रक्चरली फॉर हायर एजुकेशन एंड स्कूल एजुकेशन इन प्रिंसिपल इट इज सेम.
तो सर अगर एनसीईआरटी ने कंटेंट कम नहीं किया going forward, then it will be difficult to follow this structure in 6 hours.
पूरा टीम एनसीईआरटी एनसीएफ का जो हायर बॉडी है, स्टीयरिंग कमेटी से लेके करिकुलम डेवलपमेंट बॉडी, उसमें दिन रात मेहनत कर रहा है उसको रैशनलाइज करके अच्छा करिकुलर स्ट्रक्चर लाने के लिए, एंड वेरी सून इट वुड बी इन द पैटर्न.
जी सर.
that much I can comment upon right now.
जी सर.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है. तो
sir, one more question.
Please.
Just to
बताइए.
Sir, here we are talking about the basic credit score. If the child will pass in these subjects, so this much credit score will be there. But there are students who are participating out of school in various competitions like science exhibition, like some debate, declamation contest. So how the credit score will be added into their score?
Yes, आपको 6 to 8 वाला जो दिखाएंगे ना अभी थोड़ी देर में, another 10-15 minutes में we will supposed to close also, तो उसमें आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा. बिकॉज ये जो करिकुलम का ट्रांजैक्शन मॉडल है आज का तारीख में, वी आर फॉलोइंग ए फिक्स्ड मॉडल जो लास्ट 10 years 15 years से चलता हुआ आ रहा है. उसमें अगर इफ यू लुक इनटू द डायनामिक्स ऑफ सीसीई, द फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट, सबमिटिव असेसमेंट, there was a huge scope for bending this credit methodology into the credit score. If you recall our formative assessment and summative assessment, there is a perfectly blended things was there. The same way, what suppose student is participating in science exhibition, अगर आपका इंटरनल मार्क्स जो है, अगर जो बच्चा नेशनल साइंस एग्जीबिशन में अभी जो कल से शुरू होने जा रहा है नेशनल साइंस एग्जीबिशन, और जो ऑलरेडी रीजनल विनर आ चुका है, डिक्लेयर हो चुका है, can't we give anything to them, any credit to them for his or her science subjects internal mark? इसके लिए क्या सीबीएसई से ऑफिशियल परमिशन चाहिए? सिमिलरली फॉर द स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटी, जो फिजिकल एजुकेशन कंपोनेंट है वो तो कंपलसरी हो रहा है. जो बच्चा नेशनल गेम में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहा है, विनर ना भी हुआ है, उनके लिए वी कैनॉट कीप सम एडिशनल एफर्ट. जितना कम पूछेंगे इसके लिए, बिकॉज आई वांट टू हैव पब्लिक डोमेन. आई थिंक स्कूल इज ऑलरेडी एम्पावर्ड टू डू सो मेनी थिंग ऑन इट्स ओन. इट्स ए मैटर ऑफ मैपिंग द करिकुलर एक्टिविटी with the other activities, because NEP talks about only curricular activity, extra scope, everything is now mapped. Now that mapping process you need to define, then the assessment rubrics would be more easy to use subject teacher. किस component में कितना आप credit दोगे, that even in the language skills, if somebody suppose मैं Again, I am talking about PPC. अगर जो बच्चा 4-5 बच्चे PPC में एंकरिंग किया है, क्या केबी का जिस स्कूल से है उन बच्चे को स्पेशल क्रेडिट नहीं दे सकते? सिमिलरली आपका स्कूल में इतना अच्छा प्रोग्राम कराते हो आप लोग, तो जो बच्चा those who are coming forward to participate and showing their communication skill, no matter what language it is. We can't give any credit to them. So that way, let us come up with the solution. Thank you very much. So आज का तारीख में अगर मार्कशीट का 9 का लुक कैसा होगा देख लीजिए. थ्योरी, प्रैक्टिकल, और प्रैक्टिकल में आप लोग कुछ भी कर सकते हो. आज का तारीख में ग्रेड 9 आपका इंटरनली एसेस है, तो इसमें जो भी मैपिंग करना है, जो भी राजीव जी ने बोला है या ज्योति जी ने बोला है, यू कैन ट्वीक इट बेस्ड ऑन योर ओन. और यहाँ पे आपका एडेप्टिव लर्निंग भी आ जाएगा जो इंटरनल एक्टिविटीज में. तो अभी क्रेडिट जो देगा बच्चा, जो मिनिमम पास मार्क्स जब भी उसको मिल जाएगा तभी उसको क्रेडिट का जो कॉलम है वो फिल हो जाएगा. अदरवाइज वहां पे जहां पे भी ई ग्रेड आएगा वहां पे आपका क्रेडिट पॉइंट 0 होगा. दैट ऑल्सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. आज का तारीख में फॉर योर ओन क्लैरिटी जो मैं बोलने का प्रयास किया था, सीबीएसई का कोई भी मार्कशीट को अगर पीछे देखेंगे ये चीज लिखा हुआ है. A1 ग्रेड हम देते हैं टॉप 1/8 जो परसेंटेज स्टूडेंट है. सिमिलरली ई ग्रेड देते हैं जो मिनिमम बेंचमार्क, जो पास मार्क जो हम बोलते हैं उसको अचीव नहीं कर पाते हैं. और ई मींस एसेंशियल रिपीट. एक करिकुलम स्ट्रक्चर आपको बाद में मिल जाएगा, वेबसाइट में आ जाएगा, जहां पे क्रेडिट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कैसे हुआ है, बोथ एकेडमिक और उसका स्किल का. So that way student at this point of time can earn 40 credits, 47 credit, even 54 credit at grade 9. So although minimum criteria is only 40 किसी को 5 सब्जेक्ट्स में हो गया तो इट्स डन. बट कल का तारीख में इसी 54 क्रेडिट्स को हम 40 में रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर, ऑलरेडी वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड, इज सब्जेक्ट टू द एग्रीमेंट विद द हायर बॉडीज. तो वी बट सैंपल थिंग्स विल शो यू. एंड ग्रेड में भी कैलकुलेटेड पर सब्जेक्ट बेस्ड अपॉन द मार्क्स ऑब्टेन एज पर द एग्जिस्टिंग पैटर्न. So one question RP was telling came in the website, that is the difference between the grade and credit. Credit is based on the notional learning hour completed by the child subject to the assessment. That is credit. कोई minimum marks अगर 33 उसको मिल गया है इंग्लिश में या हिंदी में या संस्कृत में, that means he or she is eligible to earn full 7 credit on that language. Grade is अगर उसको 45 मिला है और 33 मिला है और 90 मिला है, grade is as we have shown you based on this formula. तो क्रेडिट और ग्रेड का बीच में डिफरेंस ए है. क्रेडिट बच्चा जब पास कर जाता है सब्जेक्ट को तो उसको पूरा क्रेडिट मिलेगा. ग्रेड is subject to what percentage of marks you acquired on that particular subject. That will decide based on this principle. But if you look into higher education on other institutes, there are different principles are there to award the grade. I'm not inviting the discussion on that. We can have a separate discussion because I have to complete. Otherwise, आप लोगों को ज्यादा देर रुकाना नहीं है. Okay, so एज पर NCrF मैं टेबल दिखा देता हूं. इसको आप अगर देखेंगे 1200 आवर्स का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कैसे हुआ है एज पर न्यू NCrF. बी रेडी फॉर दिस. अभी इस साल के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूं, बट बी रेडी फॉर दिस. लैंग्वेज 3 लैंग्वेज हम इसको R1, R2, R3 बोलते हैं. मैथमेटिक्स एंड कंप्यूटेशनल थिंकिंग, उसमें सब्जेक्ट मैथ्स आएगा, साइंस आएगा, सोशल साइंस आएगा, आर्ट एजुकेशन आएगा, इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी एरियाज में एनवायरमेंट एजुकेशन आएगा, फिजिकल एजुकेशन आएगा एंड वोकेशनल एजुकेशन. These 10 subjects are compulsory from grade 6 to 10. और ग्रेड एज पर न्यू NCrF और ग्रेड 6 का तैयारी आप लोग इसी अप्रैल से करिए. और ग्रेड 6 को अगर आइडियली आप इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे तो क्रेडिटाइजेशन प्रोसेस भी क्लियर हो जाएगा अगले एक साल में. So by that time next year new NCF for grade 9 would be if CBSE notify, then all our affiliated schools would be ready in and they may implement these things in a proper spirit. अब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन देख लीजिए, पिछला टेबल और इस टेबल में बहुत अंतर है. ज्योति जी ने क्वेश्चन किया आपका नोशनल सब्जेक्ट में कंटेंट कम होगा या नहीं होगा. आपका उत्तर इस टेबल पे है. हमने 210 पीरियड्स का लैंग्वेज पढ़ाते हैं आज का तारीख में, बट एज पर न्यू एनसीएफ वी आर सपोज टू स्पेंड ओनली 120 आवर्स. So that way, and I'll correct it because I think that presentation you can show. So this is just a proposal, but it will again be corrected. यहाँ पे जो आवर्स लिखा हुआ है ये 90 आवर्स आ रहा है. The latest discussion ये थोड़ा स्लाइड एक हफ्ता पुराना है. The latest discussion is language 1 to 3 would be covered each in 90 hours. So that means instead of giving 4 credit to each language, there would be 3 credit. अगर आप अच्छी तरह सोचेंगे तो 9 क्रेडिट में आपका 3 लैंग्वेज हो जाएगा और आज का तारीख में 2 लैंग्वेज में आप 714 क्रेडिट्स दे रहे हैं. So notional hour will remain almost same, but the language content would be reduced so that it can amicably offer to the school student very suitably. So अगर ग्रेड 11 के लिए थोड़ी देर के लिए जाते हैं, एग्जिस्टिंग पैटर्न में अगर हम इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क तो उसका रूपरेखा क्या होगा. मैं सीधा टेबल पे आ जाता हूं. इट वुड बी मोर क्लियर एंड वी कैन सेव टाइम. सेम पैटर्न 40 to 47. यहां पे न्यू एनसीएफ का साथ ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है एक्सेप्ट 2 लैंग्वेज और सब्जेक्ट यहां पे 5 कंपल्सरी. Under new NCrF, it would be 6 compulsory, keeping choosing subjects from the different group. So, आज का तारीख में आपका 11th और 12th का मार्कशीट का रूपरेखा ऐसा है. लास्ट में एक एडिशनल कॉलम जोड़ दीजिएगा. सेम 10th का पोजिशनल ग्रेडिंग इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर द ग्रेड 12th ग्रेडिंग, ग्रेड 11th ग्रेडिंग. करिकुलम आपको बाद में मिल जाएगा सारी चीज. अगर स्टूडेंट इज पासिंग ग्रेड 11 विल बी एलिजिबल फॉर रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर द 12 एंड यहाँ पे 40 क्रेडिट्स इफ स्टूडेंट्स ऑप्ट एंड पास 5 सब्जेक्ट्स, 47 क्रेडिट इफ स्टूडेंट्स ऑप्ट एंड पास 6 सब्जेक्ट. न्यू एनसीएफ में देयर इज नो स्कोप ऑफ एडिशनल क्रेडिट. वहां पे हम 40 में सीमित रखेंगे. ऑफ कोर्स इफ सम स्टूडेंट्स ऑप्ट मोर सब्जेक्ट then that nomenclature should be defined, but at 10 we are keeping only 40 credit within the frame of 10 compulsory subjects. This is equally important for 6 also, but 11 12 mein new NCF mein there is a grouping, so you have to take 2 languages from group 1, at least one of which is native to India, 4 subjects जहां पे आप group 2 3 4 मिला के ले सकते हैं. तो इस विषय में कोई कंफ्यूजन हम आप लोगों को इस मुहूर्त में नहीं करना चाहते हैं. माय हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू लुक इनटू द एग्जिस्टिंग पैटर्न फॉर नाउ unless until we notify new NCF for grade 9 and 11. So in the existing pattern you try to implement national credit framework in true spirit. अगर NCF को इसी टेबल को देखेंगे जो 10th के लिए दिखाया था, it will look like this. Subject 1 and 2 group 1 से लेंगे आप लोग और 3 4 5 6 7th is again optional here. So 6th compulsory subject जो ग्रुप 2, 3, 4 से मिला के लिया जा सकता है। यहाँ पे मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच सीबीएसई स्कूल्स के लिए there is absolutely no issue because we are already practicing it. So this is not new to CBSE school. It could be जहाँ पे stream centric subject combinations are being offered, whichever school board जहाँ पे restriction and rigidity है, for them यहाँ पे permutation combination करना पड़ेगा. But CBSE schools के लिए you all are practicing it. I don't think it would be a problem for you, especially in the senior secondary education once NCF will be notified. अगर हम एग्जिस्टिंग पैटर्न को देखेंगे vis-a-vis न्यू पैटर्न को देखेंगे तो वहां पे आपका 2 लैंग्वेज आने से 180 हो गया, बट अगेन it would change. It will come back to 120 hours for the senior secondary के लिए कितना हुआ था? ठीक है, तो I think so that way 1200 hours should be divided. यहाँ पे मोटा मोटा 1200 hours को equally divide कर दिया, but largely
hours. So that again, we have gone to homework, worksheets, holiday home task, assignments, all the projects, which includes, like you said, the science fairs, etc. And then the summer break, how it is shown as research time. So also the holiday home task and the research time, 10 hours. Next one, sir. So then we come down to all the other things that are included. 15 hours, 5 hours for pen and paper test. So you have the formative and the summative. And in the other activities that we are doing, we have PPTs, MCQs, quiz, peer teaching, part of, I'm sure many schools have this peer teaching. We also have a parents walk-in, which is a way of revision. So all that comes into these 15 hours. And then you have the 5 hours of exam. And then that adds up to the 120 hours we are talking about. Next, please. So this you can see that in the subject week, we have shown you especially one part of it because we all have, our subject weeks are interdisciplinary. I wish to add this. Like let's say we had maths and sports. So now in that we have assemblies. So then we will have that 1 hour, 3 assemblies, so 3 hours. Then there's an activity on Thursday when we have a subject week. So that's 1 hour. And we usually have a trip on Saturday. That's for 6 hours. So then all that adds up to the 20 hours and the others add up to 10 and the total is 30 hours. So everything has been broken down. It will be very easy for you to understand how the credits are coming. So this is that 1 credit I was telling you that we have extra 5 credits. This is how we are showing you that how we are breaking up that 1 credit. Next, please. Is a sample of the syllabus. You have seen how we did the hours, and then we have come down to minuscule breakup with reading, writing, grammar, literature. All right, and then you can see which are the books we use, and then we will move to the next one, sir, to show them. So this is how we are doing, and I'm taking up the English one because I'm a teacher of English. So you can see that how the months, number of working days. I wish to add over here, you will also find this on the inspection handbook. When you go for inspection for CBSE schools, this layout is there in that handbook. So you can see the literature, the learning objective. Then the green are the SDGs, right? Because we are using teaching in class, class, learning outside of class, learning at home, learning in the community, and interdisciplinary. So what we have done in Sun City School is we've color coded it. Green is before the SDGs. All that is, and you must have seen that there is an environmental aspect which is coming in with the new with the NCF, because it has.
Rupa ma'am, somehow your audio is.
Sorry. Sorry. Am I not audible? Hello?
Ma'am, you are
Ma'am,
perfectly
you are
audible.
audible. You are
Okay.
audible.
Okay, so you can see the green. I'm going fast sir, because I know I have paucity of, there's a paucity of time. So you can see we have color coded it. You can also think of it. So the SDG or related to environment, etc. We've made it green. Then the blue one, you can see there's a blue one. That's the competency based one. We do the competency based color coded blue, and the yellow one is the design thinking. Thanks to the way we are now trying to incorporate design thinking into our curriculum. Thank you for that skill set that you're giving us, Dr. Shah. So then you can easily understand that whether the teacher has put in all of this. Of course, you will read it also. Then you can see in this multiple intelligences and SDG column, and I will show you in the next, that we've also put in the domain. So you can see these, we have actually pictorial depiction. So I'll just give you an example. There are 8 multiple intelligences. The maple leaf is for naturalistic. ABC is linguistic, like that. Then you see a group of people that's interpersonal interpersonal, and like that, right? And then the learning outcomes. Next one please. And you can see the video links we give so that the children can do design thinking. That is the problem solving part, right? And again you can see over here, so you may be reading concept initiation, concept elucidation, and concept closure. So concept initiation is how we put in a topic with raising the curiosity through an activity. So if you see that, it's up to you whether you wish to consider. Same thing, green and blue, that is there, right? And all of this with the learning outcomes. Next one, please. Right. So then you can see how we have done it. Sir, just go back to the previous one, because there's a 0.5 credits over here. Can you see that? Letter writing part. So we have now broken this up according to the subject concepts also. So you can see that, right? So next one, please. So the conclusion, I wish to tell you, because sir also used the word notional, and we have also put it, notional actually comes from the finance background. So when there are shares, when there is a credit debit happening, so the notional is what you anticipate, what you think will happen. That's where notional comes from, right? So I just thought I would explain this to you, and then it's just a conclusion. And next one, please. Thank you. I hope I finished on time. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Rupaji. So I think for middle level, whatever she explained, of course, there would be variation from school to school. Whatever she practices may not be as it is in other school, but definitely there is a way of thinking, and this way we can think of and also customize based on your local requirement. But basic structure, if you look into, it is more or less same. Only thing is the way a school leader thinks, the way his or
Thank
her
you very much.
academic team like to implement, considering the local condition. So my request to all of you, this is all about this creditization, and especially for this academic session, you look into grade 6 and grade 7 and grade 8, and with this new NCF, keeping new NCF in mind. And I think the structure, whatever we are showing here, that will absolutely fit your requirement. And also, wherever you like to customize, you are free to customize and come back to us. But the notional hour and credit of course, there should not be any compromise on these two terms, but on the matter of assessment, in line of transaction of different kind of pedagogy, project-based approach, or your the other methodology, how you are utilizing backless day. So these can absolutely vary from one school to other school. So that's my humble request to all of you. And we at CBSC, both from academic, assessment, training, skill, we are aligned to carry out this exercise with you so that it can truly implement in each and every CBSC affiliated school. And whoever are front runner, my request to you all that you help your neighborhood school. We have a wonderful structure of Shahodaya. We have a wonderful structure of hub of learning. So take the lead role to invite your neighbors in your school and explain them. And of course, you can use this video for any purpose. And if any specific interventions is required from the side of CBSE at any point of time, we are ready before 15 February or in between exams also, because large number of schools are not exam center. So if you need a specific intervention, you can write to us, you can mail us, you can call us, and we can arrange a separate workshop for you all during the exam time, only for the schools who are not having the exam center, but for the exam center, they are purely exempted only for the examination business, no other activities. So thank you very much for bearing with us for quite long time. We can take a few questions. Of course, some questions are line up, which our joint secretary has. You can ask one by one so that on behalf of school, and of course you can directly raise also.
Sir, the query that has come 2-3 times is that are the credits going to be same for all subjects, be it academic or vocational? So that has been clarified in the table. The credit has been mentioned against the respective subjects. Now, is it applicable to state boards or only CBSC? It is applicable throughout to all the boards. And from which session it will be applicable?
For grade 6, 9, 11, from these academic sessions starting from April 2024.
So is getting minimum credit passing criteria also?
Existing passing criteria would be continued, and those students who pass any subjects, they would be eligible for earning full credit.
And the credits will be for the co-curricular subjects can be counted under which subject or
For grade 6 under new NCF, you please follow the table just showing we are showing here. For grade 9 and 10, the existing pattern would be practiced maybe for one more year.
and they need more clarity on the third language concept and how the credit between third language and skill subject that has already been clarified in the table, the scheme of studies that was shown.
Let me tell you another interesting facet of the third language or foreign language, especially those schools are offering. We may consider the foreign language as a part of the skill subjects, so that you can suitably offer it
Under the foreign language clause.
foreign language. But because NCF is recommending 2 native language and 1 foreign language. So English, although it is English medium, CBSC, so English is also a foreign language here. Let me clarify this. And those who are offering other language, they may offer as a skill subject. So, but that nomenclature, once we will notify NCF for grade 9 and 11, in due course of time, board will notify. And उसके लिए मन में कोई भी confusion और धुआशा मत रखिए. I'm repeatedly clarifying on the existing pattern. Grade 9 and 11, you can implement the credit framework, but for grade 6, please follow the NCF guidelines. Already it is there, but maybe in due course of time, before start of the new curriculum, we'll definitely inform you. But in the meantime, these periods, those schools, those teachers who are very much occupied with the exam related work, उनको principal को भी request है exams के लिए छोड़िए, बाकी जो आपका फैकल्टी मेंबर है, उनको इस एक्टिविटीज के लिए अगले 2 महीना डिस्कस कीजिए और एक प्रॉपर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्लान बनाइए। एक मॉडल रूपा जी ने दिखाया, आपका पास ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे स्कूल का पास डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ मॉडल मौजूद है। ड्यू टू पॉजिटिव ऑफ टाइम मैं बाकी लोग मेंबर को रिक्वेस्ट नहीं कर पाया टू प्रेजेंट करने के लिए। मे बी इन अदर ओकेशन विल रिक्वेस्ट द अदर पैनलिस्ट टू शेयर देयर एक्सपीरियंस इन द फोरम सो दैट मोर क्लैरिटी वुड बी देयर। आज शुरुआत है, अभी आप लोगों का साथ हम इस टाइप का वर्कशॉप बीच बीच में करते रहेंगे। एवरी 15-20 डेज में एक ऑनलाइन सेशन करेंगे। जो जोड़ना चाहेंगे जोड़िए, बाकी लोग नहीं जोड़ पाएंगे तो बाद में यूट्यूब से देख लीजिएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
ऑफलाइन सेशंस के लिए रिक्वेस्ट है,
हाँ,
फिजिकल सेशन।
हाँ, फिजिकल सेशन ऑल्सो वी आर प्लानिंग इन द न्यू एकेडमिक सेशन पैन इंडिया at least 10 workshop we are going to conduct physically, and maybe my request would be to all Shahodaya group to come forward and take a lead role to organize the workshops in your locality. और उसको भी हम लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग करा देंगे सो दैट देयर वुड बी मल्टीपल। एक ही चीज का कुछ जगह पे रिपीटेशन होगा, बट न्यू क्वेश्चंस, न्यू लोकलाइज पैटर्न में वी कैन डेफिनेटली आंसर। पैनलिस्ट से कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज, अदरवाइज हमने बहुत शेड्यूल समय से बहुत ज्यादा समय ले लिया, आई एम सॉरी, बट कोई डिस्कशंस में आप लोगों का इक्वल पार्टिसिपेशन होने से ये भी एक हैप्पीनेस का कारण बन जाता है।
I think, sir, it is a great start, and we'll have better clarity as we move further. So to start with, this is very, a good start.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and we would request you to start with the Ghaziabad Sahodaya first.
Yes.
Okay.
I
We
second
will
this.
put in our request, sir.
Mumbai
So we
Sahodaya is
can
awaiting.
have Ghaziabad, Noida, Gautam Budh Nagar all together.
We'll plan. So just write a mail to us and definitely we'll schedule so that in between, our motto is we should not disturb the examination, which is regular theory exams, which would be starting from Feb 15. But जहाँ पे center नहीं है, उस जगह पे और उस स्कूलों के लिए definitely in between also we can plan. But regular pattern हम शुरू करेंगे अप्रैल से। इन बिटवीन सम एक दो लोकेशन में हम फरवरी मार्च में भी कर लेंगे।
And
Thank you very
Sahodaya wise, we can at Ghaziabad also create something that Sun City School has created. So
Sure.
we can also do a prototype there.
So through this forum, I am requesting all Shahodaya, NPSC, different group of schools, जो भी प्रिंसिपल का जो एसोसिएशन है, इस पब्लिक फोरम में मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, आप लोग अपना अनुभव डिफरेंटली इंप्लीमेंट कीजिए और इनोवेटिव आइडिया का साथ हमारा पास दोबारा आइए, एंड टुगेदर वी आर गोइंग टू इंप्लीमेंट दिस इन अ ट्रू स्पिरिट। नमस्कार एंड जय हिंद। आप
Namaskar, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saha, Director Skill Education, CBSE, for giving us insights into the National Curriculum Framework. We will have more sessions where we'll be dealing class-wise or section-wise, and subject-wise also the details will be there. I will again reiterate the request made by Dr. Saha that please share whatever you're doing in your school, the plan and how you want to implement it so that it can be shared in the public forum. How you are going to give credit for curricular, academic, co-curricular things, we will also discuss it out, and we would like to have a same pilot going on everywhere. So through Sahodayas, please do get in touch with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We had an attendance of around 2,500 people all the time watching it on YouTube as well as on the WebEx channel. Thank you so much for joining in and attending the session. I am also thankful to the IT team of CBSE that was there for the non-stop streaming of the whole program. The officers of CBSE Skill Education Department who were there throughout the program. Although we had a small hiccup, but it was managed. Thank you so much for being there and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.